We have waited patiently for more than 30 of your years for the time when we can bring the Stargate and those who are deeply connected to it. This place of many mysteries, this place which is actually a holder of Atlantean knowledge and wisdom. The beauty, the mystery of the divine feminine, which is yet to be released. Information, different activations, supported by star families who have shared their wisdom with the Egyptians through the mystery schools there. Join us in this energetic and you will be touched. You will evolve. You will start to understand the mystery not just of Egypt, but the mystery of humanity. Why you are here, what is occurring, and what is about to happen. And hello and welcome to our second experience here in front of the pyramids in Cairo. This is super exciting for us. And as you can see, we're sat right in front of the two largest pyramids here. And this evening, we're going to be bringing you another aspect of the whole Egyptian story.
So tonight is going to be all about the divine feminine in ancient Egypt. And I'm super excited because we have Alan Steinfeld from New Realities and Saraswati, who are going to be together talking a bit about the divine feminine and some of the more ancient aspects of how the divine feminine was in the older parts of Egypt that have been almost forgotten. So we're going to bring Alcazar through in a few moments to actually talk a bit about the divine feminine. If you're totally new to this is the Stargate experience. In this live stream, we're going to be diving into channeled information, a presentation from research from the ancient civilization of Egypt, and then we're going to go into an actual experience of a high vibrational energy meditation using the Stargate, powered up by these gorgeous pyramids that you see behind us, which are absolutely Stargates in and of themselves. So let's turn it over to Alcazar.
Beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar. And indeed, it is a great honor to be connecting to each and every one of you around the world in this moment of now, this timeless moment of now. As we have said in your yesterday, it has been more than 30 years that Pragit and Julianne have wanted to bring the Stargate to the pyramids, to Egypt, and to connect to the energies here. We have always asked them to wait. And as you can see, now is the time. Why now? Because humanity is on the verge of an incredible shift in consciousness. It is already happening, but it is going to grow. It is going to get stronger. The Stargate has been working for these 30 plus years to create a Stargate family, those who are touched by these energies, who are finding that these energies are beginning to open them up, to bring balance back into their lives, and for their consciousness to be expanding. feeling more of who they are. Now is the time for this shift in humankind. So we are coming to this country of Egypt. We are connecting through time from your perspective. From our perspective, it is simply this moment of now, this pure moment in the quantum field where all is held, where all is accessible to those who can open to receive it. And so we will be bringing forth some of the hidden energetics, energies that have been shut down over the years since the prime time of the energies of this place. We will be traveling through the country, visiting many of the temples and sacred sites, entering into the Great Pyramid that you see behind us, not once but several times. And we will be bringing you channelings from there. Today, as you have heard, we are focusing on the divine feminine. As most of you are aware, humanity has been very out of balance between the male and the female energies. In the past, the feminine were the stronger of the guiding force of the spiritual experiencing. Many seekers came from around your world to be here to receive the initiations in the temples and ultimately in the Great Pyramid. This one, Jesus, has been here more than once to receive the initiations, to assist him in his process into enlightenment. We will be hearing some information, and we ask you, when you listen to these informations, be still. Receive the energies that we will be transmitting behind the words. It will be subtle. As information is given, be relaxed, perhaps even with your eyes closed, and feeling a deeper wisdom that is behind the words, that is held in the energetics of this place and the energies that we will bring to you. And then, after these informations that these beautiful people are going to bring you, we will do a meditation to anchor in some of the divine feminine energies from the ancient times. Because now, beloveds, it is about bringing balance to humanity within each and every one of you and within humanity as a whole. If you are hearing these words, you are on the leading edge of awakening. And so for you, it is of great import to allow yourself to move back into a beautiful balance between the male aspect of self and the female aspect of self. As you probably know, you have both sides. But people tend to be in balance with the physical aspect of themselves. So the male tends to be more masculine. The feminine tends to be more feminine. Now it is time for these two parts of each one of you to come into balance, so that when it is appropriate, the male aspect is guiding you. When it is appropriate, the female receptive knowledge is guiding you. The inner is guiding you. And so, beloved ones, we thank you for being here and sharing these moments with us. We will join you again after the presentation of this information and experiencing from those from the portal of ascension.
Okay, so we have Alan from new realities starting first. And then these are the people who actually stimulated us to come to Egypt. They were, Neil from Portal to Ascension invited us to come and to do this tour. So we're super grateful because for the first time ever, it was like, yes, it's time. And so tonight you're going to hear from all of our organizers here. So we got Alan Steinfeld, we have Joan of Angels from Portal to Ascension.
And she's got some amazing things to show us.
Yeah, some really beautiful, beautiful images from the tour that they just went on. And we have Neil Gower from Portal to Ascension also. So we're going to hand it over to them, and we'll see you after their presentations to dive into the energies of the divine feminine.
So over to you, Alan.
The home of creation. I'm joined with Dr. Saraswati Robin, and I'm just going to give you a little overview of what we did this past week in Egypt. And first of all, as Altazar said, the stargates are opening. And why the divine feminine? Because the divine feminine, the womb of the feminine, is the stargate all of us come into this world through. Our consciousness is from someplace else, and we are born into this earthly manifestation through the sacred womb of the divine feminine. Do you have anything to comment about that aspect of the divine feminine?
Well, it is its own portal, but I think, male or female, the feminine is really about compassion. It's about the ripening of our own hearts. It's about the ability to soften, the ability to hold, the ability to stand firm. Here in Egypt, our heart ripens, because the frequency is so strong and so aimed at that initiatory process.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's exactly right. You do open your heart through these ancient monuments that we've just journeyed through the last 10 days. And so there's a ripening of the aspect of that feminine, the receivership. So it's like, in 1890, Madame Blavatsky wrote Isis Unveiled. It's the unveiling of the union. The Hopi say a bird can't fly with only one wing. So you need the masculine and the feminine.
And this, and the way we soften our own heart so that we can feel compassion not only outwardly, which is really part of the feminine, but that we can feel, hold ourselves like as a child, like in our own innocence. That's really a quality of the feminine.
That's great. And Egypt is the mother of civilization. She gave birth to what all we've created in the 21st century. I just want to show a few images from the journey we went on, some of the, I wouldn't say mythology, but the ancient wisdom that was held in these temples. So the first image is a drawing of Nut, the sky goddess. And this is one of the only places in the world where the feminine is the sky. She covers the world with her body at night. And Geb, the male aspect, is underneath, receiving that nourishment from the goddess. So we actually went to a major goddess temple called the Hathor temple. And you see this next image is of the goddess Nut in the Hathor temple, eating the sun at night and birthing it out of her womb for daylight. And Hathor at the bottom there is being birthed out with the sun as the goddess of fertility, of creation.
And she has the horns, the cow horns. So we have the sacred cow as part of the tradition of Hathor, of which feeds. Through multiple culture, the cow is sacred because she feeds. And so we see that here with Hathor.
Yes, and the next image is of Sekhmet, the fierce. Oh no, this is actually next. Sekhmet is the fierce goddess. She's like the warrior goddess, the Kali. So why is that in all these traditions? There's the soft feminine, there's the intense feminine.
Well, usually the wrathful expressions are this, it's not an outward energetic, but it's a fierceness to do what it takes to uncover your own truth, to uncover your own soul. Like, I'm fiercely going to do that. It's the most important thing to me. That's why we have wrathful expressions.
Exactly. And of course, we have the divine fertility goddess of Isis. And the next picture is with Joan, who's going to be up next with the statue of Isis there at the Isis temple of Philae, which we will be going to on this journey, and we'll be showing footage from that. So if you sign up for the streams, you'll see, and also the footage that will come after this tour, you'll see some of the ceremonies of how we honor the sacred. And actually, in that last, I want to give you this little murti of Isis here.
Oh my God, I so wanted you to give this to me. I was like, after we finished with it, I was holding it. I wouldn't let it go. I swear, I'm like, no.
Well, it got the blessings of the ancient temple and all the goddesses that were in the circle blessing this. So it's energized. So I thought you, as the divine representative, would be a perfect person to receive that, because I've received it. So just to
thank you so much.
But to close up, because you're an expert in Hindu ancient, ways. Your name is Saraswati. Do you want to just chant?
If you feel,
if
we can resonate with just these four names, and it relates to all of the feminine that we hold within us, all human beings. Because it's really not just masculine and feminine, it's everything in between, as we all know.
And of course, the goddess is everywhere in every culture. It's just been suppressed in the West for so long that now it's time that we rejoin our yin and yang together.
Yeah, so this is, so I'll say it in Sanskrit and then translate it into English, and then I think that will be it.
Yes.
Anandamayi, Chaitanyamayi, Karunamayi, Parameshwari. Yeah, so this is Bliss Mother, Auspicious Mother, Compassionate Mother. Mother is the Godhead. Jeho.
Thank you all. I'm going to bring up. Thank you for that. The goddess is present everywhere all the time. We are actually living in the goddess. These bodies are the flesh of the goddess, and we are giving birth to ourselves. So we're going to bring Joan of Angels up, who is one of my favorite goddesses. Thank you, Joan. And have a seat there. Thank you, Saraswati.
Thank you.
Oh, so guys, just take a deep breath in and just feel the power of this goddess. Feel her wings enfolding you. Feel how powerful she was, not just because she was the compassionate one or the nurturing one, but she actually spread those wings over humanity. She was fierce in her protection against male dominance. She is the one who went down into the underworld to restore Osiris. She was very fierce in gathering his parts and knowing that she could bring her beloved back together again. Isis represents that fierceness within us as women. She represents that ability to proclaim, to hold the power of our presence, to not submit, to not feel that we're weak. These wings, when you even invoke your own wings, are so powerful that it will allow you to cover the planet, and that is what she did. She used her words, Egyptian magic. She was the goddess of Egyptian magic. And what does that mean? The Egyptians used magic to invoke the goddess. This particular statue, according to the Egyptian, it's a container for the true and real Isis. And when you use the proper words, the proper pronunciations, the proper actions, right action, you can actually activate her power so that she is within you. And that is how Egyptian magic works. They call forth the power of the gods and the goddesses by using these divine sacred containers that may look like a statue to someone, but is actually in their magic, she is the embodiment of the goddess. So you are actually looking at the real Isis. You can actually take a deep breath in and feel her power as she embraces you, as she reminds you, especially all you women, as she reminds you of the power that we hold as women. We went into the sacred temple of Isis. It was wonderful. It was an amazing experience because we took a boat over in the dark of night, and even that was magical. And we walk into the temple, and as we go back into the inner sanctum, there was an altar there, and she sat on the altar. Let's show that picture of her sitting on the altar. We sat her on the altar. Why? Because we were invoking her presence, invoking the power that she gives us, the magic that she holds. And what is this magic? It's the magic to heal. It's the magic to uplift. It's the magic to create new life, create new forms. Most of all, to create a sense of power and presence in women. Women are not to be weak and dominated. Women are to learn to hold a container of their sacred energy, because it's only by doing that that we can actually extend our light out to heal the world. And so in this ceremony, there I am holding sacred space, and you can actually there's other pictures that show you the wings of Isis right behind me as this powerful presence. And I invite you, as you're watching this, to invoke Isis in your own home. But when you invoke that, remember you're invoking your powerful self, your ability to hold your own power when someone might come up and push you out. We had a very interesting time. We went in, and Saraswati sang for us. A few women sang for us. And then we created a very juicy energy. And one of our beloved leaders came in and asked all the women to leave. And lo and behold, not one woman left the room. We held that container for the women because we had invited the men into our womb. So I want you to remember that in our relationships, we invite the men into our womb. And rather than giving them the power over it, Isis teaches us how to use our words, how to use our power to hold that. So it was quite a powerful ceremony that was invoked that night. But you can even see and feel this living being that she is, this living entity. And there were pictures, of course, of angels on the wall behind us, which were my wings and her wings combined. So I invite you to feel her presence. After the ceremony, which actually left many of us breathless and kind of dizzy, I took a little walk around her temple. And in the chamber next door, the energies were swirling. So we're going to show you that. It's a very short video. Orbs, I had put out this intention because I could never capture orbs, ever. And I said, tonight I want to capture the orbs and the magic of this temple. So I want you to see those orbs swirling around. Oh, see that? Multiple orbs were swirling around, coming towards us, and then light coming like this. Light coming like this, extremely powerful. That was awakening, that was stirring, because we had stirred up the goddess, and that was her way to share with us that she had been there, that she had literally been with us. So this process of invoking the goddess is very native to Egypt, to Egyptian magic. And we call her the goddess of magic, of sacred magic, because when we work with her, her words have always cut through any BS that might happen and make it real, and make it last, and make it strong. So I encourage you to join us all week as we invoke the power of all the goddesses, not just Isis, but Isis is one of the most well-known. And as you can see, all you have to do is hold your wings up and feel her presence. And so I'm just honored to share with you a little bit about that ritual, that sacred ceremony that we did. So now I am honored to bring on Neil Garg, who is the founder and creator of Portal to Ascension. This is actually, Portal to Ascension is actually the embodiment of his brain, of what he wanted to create for humanity. Every course has been designed because he had a curiosity about it, but also because I believe we had been in Atlantis together, and when Atlantis drowned, we sent out all of our teachers and all of the initiates across the planet with the scrolls. And so, along with Stargate this week, and we have been actually activating these mystery schools around the planet. So I'm going to take Isis with me, and I'm inviting you to meet Neil, who's a very powerful presence.
Hello everybody, good to be here with you. The transmissions from my two best friends, Alan and Joan, truly put me in my heart space and just made me realize why I do this work. I'm kind of emotional right now just hearing the beauty that came out of their mouths and their hearts. And what I want to start with, there's a couple of things that were shared that I kind of want to just connect some dots here. In a moment, we're going to get into a slideshow presentation where I want to show you the journey from, as we entitled this, from Seshat to Thoth. Seshat is one of the lesser known deities in ancient Egypt, and she is one of the most ancient ones. And I want to give her reverence and just show how Egypt went from a matriarchal civilization to a patriarchal, how it fell, as I shared yesterday if you were tuning in there, how it fell from grace as we devolved in consciousness, and the energy shifted as well, and how the mystery schools were predominantly based on the feminine energy, and the feminine energy wasn't out of balance like you would say maybe one way is just the masculine. It was the feminine energy represented balance, represented the equality of all the energies. So the first thing I want to share here is Ptah. Sekhmet was actually the wife of Ptah, and Egypt originally was called Huat Ka Ptah, and that was the name that the Greeks heard when they entered Memphis that eventually they thought sounded Egyptos. So the house of the spirit of Ptah was the name in Egyptian that the Greeks mistranslated to Egyptos, and that was how we moved from Kemet, which was the original name of Egypt, to what we currently have now, which is Egypt. And just want to say that Sekhmet, she was the counterpart to Ptah. And Alan and Saraswati touched on the Kali energy. And actually, Sekhmet and Kali are counterparts in different faiths. They were both known for their lust for what the metaphors show as killing. That they had a really high toll of bodies in regards to going around and killing. But the metaphor for that isn't that they were murderous. If you look at the story of Kali, Kali has a necklace of heads around her neck. And this fierce energy represented cutting the ego of men so that they can fall into their hearts. The fierce energy was the energy to go through and penetrate the ego, penetrate the darkness, and kill the past self that you've identified with in order for you to transcend into a higher octave of existence. We've been in the Kali Yuga for quite some time. The Kali energy was connected to the Kali Yuga. The Sekhmet energy was connected to the Kali Yuga. In order for us to transcend out of the Kali Yuga into higher ages, we need to go through and, for lack of a better way of explaining it, kill the ego of our past selves so that we can resurrect. These are all metaphors we find in all of our scriptures, so we can resurrect into who we truly need to become for this new age and the new caretakers of the world. So we're going to get into the presentation now. If you want to pull that up. So as we're pulling up the presentation, I want to share how this came about. I was doing a research project for a couple of years on the life of Pythagoras. And if I get a chance to, which I think I will, we'll be doing a presentation over the 10 days of Pythagoras in Egypt. And as I was doing that, around half of the time I spent researching Pythagoras took me to Egypt. And I realized that a lot of this information that he took out into the world actually came from this great civilization. And I started researching, going deeper into where in Egypt and what kind of schools was he initiated in to get this information out, to find out all the information that he then took out and spread around the world. A few of the schools that I found, the mystery schools that I discovered, was the mystery school of Thebes, the mystery school of Thoth, and the mystery school of Seshat. So I'm going to get into just explaining who these individuals are right now. So the pre-dynastic period in ancient Egypt is the time before recorded history from the Paleolithic to the Neolithic age and on the rise of the first dynasty, and is generally recognized around 6000 to 3150 BCE. Though now, and some of the information we will share over the next 10 days, argues for a much longer history. Pythagoras, he had gained a lot of information from these mystery schools there. And there was a deity called Seshat, and the Seshat worship conventionally accepted to be around 3150 BCE to 2613 BCE. But new discoveries in regards to the redating, if you will, of the Yuga cycles, because there's been a shift in our understanding of how long these ages span, it looks like she was probably worshipped even further back, around 6000 BCE. And then we have Thoth worship also starting around 6000 BCE, all the way to the Greek conquest and beyond. And you guys may have heard of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and that's something that's very popular right now. So the worship of Thoth continued, even though the worship of Seshat, well, let's just say, I don't like to use the word worship because maybe that's what happened as we fell from grace. More about the reverence for these deities started to dissipate as we continue to evolve into these lower states of consciousness. Seshat and Thoth, they were also known as the Atlanteans. Some people call Thoth the Atlantean, but Seshat was actually the counterpart of Thoth. And in the stories, she was both his sister and his wife. And they were both ancient deities that came from another great civilization and then entered Egypt. They were all both known for writing, astronomy, mathematics, geometry, medicine and botany, weights and measures, architecture, knowledge, and science. And a little side note, these are all things that Pythagoras was extremely interested in. But if you look at these, and then you just think about Egypt in general, the Great Pyramid, the architecture, the understanding of events, science, mathematics, acoustics, all of the different elements that Egypt really pioneered, it seemed, for humanity, were actually elements of both of these deities, Seshat and Thoth. So in essence, they were the finders and the founders, or the creators of the disciplines needed to build civilization. And as I said earlier, she was the female and male counterpart. So she invented writing and he taught it. The old gods in that time became less popular. And we see this through many ancient civilizations. We see that in India, in Greece, that there's this old guard, if you will, of gods, and they get overthrown by the new gods. And Seshat and Thoth worship began to rise. She was the one that instructed Thoth. This is the most important part here. She's actually the one that instructed Thoth on how to teach humanity these disciplines. So the confusion is that what I've seen being shared is Thoth was the one that went around, taught people how to write, taught people how to read, and basically after a great flood, after a great cataclysm, went around the world, and he was called different things in different places. Quetzalcoatl in Mexico, and many other places around the world. And as he went there, he basically taught humanity how to rebuild civilization after we were wiped out, and many of them had to go back to, the Stone Age, or back to a more primitive age. So he was going around doing this. But if you look at the stories of Thoth, we find out that he was actually taught how to do these by Seshat, and then he went around the world, took what she told him, and basically explained this to all of humanity and helped them rebuild civilization. She seemed to have received divine revelation or ancient wisdom, or be the creators of these disciplines. So, story about who she is. Who is Seshat? And you can see here in this image, this is the image that we will be seeing. There's a lot of these images of Seshat all over Egypt, and we're going to be doing some, we're going to be recording video footage, signed up for the live stream, you're going to see a lot of amazing footage. And you can feel the frequencies of these hieroglyphs and of this imagery. And this is Seshat. So we can tell by this image here that this is an older hieroglyph of Seshat, because the flower that you see, the star above her head, at a lower time as we devolved in consciousness and we fell into a lower age, the flower changed from a 14-degree angle between each petal to a 45-degree angle between each petal. And that goes down a whole conspiracy route that I don't have time to go down, but that's a very interesting awareness of why that actually happened. So Seshat, the ancient Egyptian goddess of wisdom, knowledge, and writing, has an intriguing origin story within Egyptian mythology. She was considered the wife of Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, and was often depicted as a woman wearing a leopard skin dress and an unusual headdress resembling a 7-pointed star. So, leopard skin dress, I just want to address that for 1 second. This is something that we just found out a few days ago, that all the deities that you see in ancient Egypt wearing leopard skin actually represents a person or individual that was a studier of the stars, of astronomy. So she would wear this leopard skin dress. She was the creator of records. Seshat was primarily known as the mistress of the House of Books and the mistress of the House of Architects. She played a crucial role in Egyptian bureaucracy and temple construction. She was responsible for keeping records, measuring land for construction projects, and recording the pharaoh's achievements. She was also known as a symbol of knowledge. Her 7-pointed star headdress is thought to represent the 7-year lunar cycle. It symbolizes her role as the goddess of knowledge and time, as well as her connection to celestial cycles. She was associated with all rituals in ancient Kemet, often present at important rituals and ceremonies, particularly those involving the pharaoh's coronation or temple foundation ceremonies. She would record these events and their measurements to show the accuracy and success. So what she would do here, what it's basically saying is that she would make sure that the day, the timing, the alignment, the location of these ceremonies were all in alignment so that the best potential outcome would come from this experience. And a great example of this is something that I'm realizing more and more lately, is that every element of ancient Egypt, how many rocks, how many stones in a pyramid, the distance from one pyramid to another, the triangulation of 3 pyramid structures, right? The height of where the hieroglyphics begin. Every single element was done intentionally. It seems like this was a grand design that if humanity ever had to reset again, that all elements, how to calculate the distance to stars, how to know where you came from, how to understand the cycles of time, the evolution and devolution of consciousness, all mathematical equations we need to rebuild civilization, were embedded in the structure and the artwork in Egypt, right? And I knew this before I came here, but now that I've been here for a couple of weeks and seeing it with my own eyes, I'm just realizing it's on a whole other level that is so unfathomable and is so incredibly beautiful that you really need to wonder what level of consciousness were these beings operating on. Were they left in their right hemispheres firing at the same exact energy, the masculine and feminine energy, so that they could creatively depict intricate mathematical equations through art and the design of these structures? And Seshat really is a representation of this. Let's go to the next slide. And I'm just going to end with this here, that just to go a little deeper into how intentional everything is, you can see in this image we have Thoth, and you can see that Thoth is holding his staff at a certain angle. That angle is 23.5 degrees, the same as the tilt of the Earth's axis. So even the small parts of, not only did they create a hieroglyph to explain a story, but they also made sure that the angle of the staff that Thoth was holding also had its own symbolism in itself, right? So this is a magical land, and I feel that now Egypt is calling its people home. And we're getting to a point where the technology, information, and the awareness, but ultimately, more than that, the consciousness of Egypt is ready to be reintegrated into humanity, into society. And this has to do with our understanding of all these deities here and how they existed in the ancient times in a land of balance, of equality and understanding, where we move from the wounded masculine, when we move from the wounded feminine and rejoin as the sacred divine union that we're supposed to be. So I hope to see some of you guys tuning in on the live stream. I hope that you guys can make it there. It's going to be amazing. Seriously, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we're cultivating for you. Meditations and streams and video footage of these epic experiences and locations that we're going to go. So thank you so much. I'm Neil with Portal to Ascension, and we're going to pass it back to Prageet and Jules.
Okay, thank you so much, Neil, and Alan, and Saraswati, and Joan of Angels. Wow.
It's interesting hearing this information and their experiences, but can you imagine traveling with us on this trip for the next 11 days, where we're going to be sharing experiences? You'll be able to be there with us. Sort of.
We're going to be
live stream.
So the way that this is going to work is we're going to kick off the tour with a workshop in Cairo, where we're going to be in a group room with the 100 people who are coming to Egypt in person to go on this tour with us. And so we're going to start by tapping into the energy so powerfully. And on that same day, we'll visit the Sphinx. We'll visit the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid. So it's going to be starting off with a huge bang. Then we're going to go on tour and visit so many different sites. And we're going to get as much video footage as we can. But for those of you who are tuning into the online tour, that stuff is going to be pre-recorded and released. So it's going to take us time, and we're planning to kind of go dark while we're out on the road on this 10-day tour. So this content will be kind of dripped out when it's ready, but we'll be having certain parts of it at the beginning and at the end that are actually live streamed.
Mm. And just imagine just kind of seeing and feeling the experiences that these guys have been describing, feeling the energetic that will be transmitted through the experience online, as Alcazar says, in this moment of now.
There are going to be some cosmic initiations happening here. This is the Stargate's very first time coming to Egypt. The Stargate is very much a universal technology. It's not from the earth. It's channeled in 1989 as a gift from spirit to humanity. But what Alcazar, the Stargate's guide, has said is that when a civilization is at a certain point in its evolution, when it's ready to accelerate from unconsciousness back into becoming a galactic civilization and becoming an awakened civilization, the Stargate is here to assist in that awakening process. And Alcazar has said that the Stargate has been on other planetary systems doing the same work of catalyzing the awakening. And the way that that works is through the word Stargate literally means that it's a portal. So this is a sacred geometrical structure that has the ability to create a super powerful high vibrational energy field. And in that high vibrational energy field, your own consciousness expands and you're able to directly connect to awakened energies, enlightened guides, and also the energy of the sacred sites. And so as we visit these different places and we vibe with these structures, with these beings, we're going to be transmitting everything through the quantum field.
And as Neil said, he said, having the understanding was one thing, but then being there in person was a totally different experience. So we're going to invite you to join us for that.
Yeah, and the links to sign up will be dropped into the chat. So I know some people will be watching this on Portal to Ascension, YouTube, and some people will be watching on the New Realities YouTube channel. And some of you are here with us from the Stargate experience. So go ahead and just find the link in the description or in the chat. And some of you will even be watching on Soul Search. So give a shout out to Soul Search and Tangela. So thank you.
So as you've heard, this evening's chat, as the sun is disappearing, is about the divine feminine. And we are truly blessed to have some representatives of this divine feminine energy with us on this tour.
Yeah. First of all, a shout out to the divine feminine in all of us. Because whether we're in a male or a female body, as Alcazar has said, we all have this cosmic mystery, this yin and this yang, this divine feminine, divine masculine. And there is so much that these universal forces can teach us. On this tour, we have Michelle Castro, who's going to be channeling Isis. Super excited for her to go to the Temple of Isis.
And it's very powerful energy that comes through her already. So having her in the temple is going to be quite something.
And Eugenia will be with us. And I'm actually just remembering, she's just started to channel Isis also. So Eugenia is, so many of you know her already, Eugenia Alves. She's super powerful. She brings through incredible energy.
Yeah, she's part of the Essene lineage. And she's very connected to Mother Mary and the whole of the story of the Essenes. One of her lifetimes was actually as Joan of Arc. And this is something which is very new for Eugenia. Just over the last couple of years, she connected with the Stargate and all this opening is happening. And it's a really beautiful, energetic that she brings through. She also brings through the energy of Mary and of Yeshua, Jesus.
Okay, so we're going to dive into the meditation experience in a few moments. Tomorrow's live stream, we're going to be with Vivienne, and so we're going to hear more about what we're actually here to do from her perspective as an embodied Octurian, who I can say firsthand, she has holographic vision. She has essentially multidimensional access that is quite extraordinary. So stay tuned. And the other presenter we're going to have with us is Joanna Souza Martins, who also is channeling star beings through incredibly powerful visual light language. And so let's dive into the meditation. So again, we'll have an image put up on the screen.
And so again, as we always do, we're going to ask you just to close the eyes, relax, and go inside. In this meditation, it's not about doing, it's about relaxing and receiving. And as we did in our yesterday, we're going to ask each one of you to ask inside for the energy of the earth, the energy of Gaia, to come up into your body, into your energy field.
And so we call for the energy of the earth.
And just allowing for the possibility that the earth can respond to you. Just inviting, and maybe, just maybe, you can sense an energetic coming up from the earth into each one of you. Very good. And so, beloved ones, we are with you again. And we ask each one of you now just to invite an etheric stargate, the consciousness of this structure. Just by asking with a strong intention, this consciousness will respond to you.
And so we are calling for the presence of an etheric stargate and simply asking inside, visualizing this pyramid structure forming around you. You do not need to know exactly what it looks like. Just inviting the consciousness of the stargate, visualizing, feeling, sensing as the stargate structure etherically, energetically forms around you.
Visualizing it, feeling it, imaging it. And now we ask each one of you to ask for the stargate to activate, which is giving it permission to work with you.
And so we are calling for the activation of the stargate.
And what will start happening is the stargate will begin to radiate a very soft, very gentle energy around you. Nothing to do, just relaxing into this moment of now. Very good. And so we are going to now vibrate your etheric stargate faster and faster. And as we do so, we will be moving up through the frequency ranges of the different dimensions. We start this process now. And as we start to vibrate the stargates, the energy radiating from your etheric stargate starts to rise higher, moving through the energetics of the fourth dimension, through the fifth dimensional energetics, and merging into that which we call the sixth dimension, continuing to accelerate until we reach the seventh dimensional energies, where we always pause for a few moments.
And so your stargate is now vibrating at this seventh dimensional frequency. And we ask each one of you to simply ask inside for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in all the stargates.
We call for a strong seventh dimensional energetic in your etheric stargate. And as this energy is gently radiated to each and every one of you, what will start to happen is that your energy will begin to harmonize, resonate with this seventh dimensional energetic. And slowly, slowly, your energy will move into balance, vibrating with the frequencies of the seventh dimension. And as this occurs, these energies actually vibrate you at a cellular level, bringing balance to all aspects of yourself. Effortlessly, there is nothing to do. This happens all by itself.
Very good. And so now we continue once again to vibrate all the etheric stargates around the world faster still. And so we are doing this now, and we are accelerating through your eighth dimensional frequencies into the ninth, and continuing to rise, continuing to accelerate into your 10th dimension now.
And as we continue to vibrate, into the 11th dimensions and merging through into the 12th dimensional energetics, where again we pause.
And so your stargates are now vibrating at this 12th dimensional frequency, and we ask you once again to ask inside for a strong 12th dimensional energy field in all the stargates around the world. And so we are calling for a strong 12th dimensional energy field.
And again, your stargate begins to radiate these energies around you and actually through you, as each cell is vibrated with this loving energetic of the 12th dimension. And as many of you know, as your energy again starts to harmonize with the energetic field around you, you become more sensitive to the guides and the benevolent beings who are always available to assist in our awakening. And in this meditation, we are going to be focusing, as you can imagine, on the divine feminine. And so we will start by asking each one of you to ask inside with a strong intention, a strong feeling, asking inside for the presence of Isis.
And so we are calling for the presence of Isis, goddess of the moon.
And just feel, here she comes, just feeling her energy, powerful yet gentle, respectful, coming to you. Invite her to come closer. Come closer. Yeah. Very good.
Very good. And beloved ones, you have heard of the story now of this one Thoth being taught by Seshat. And so we are going to invite each one of you now to ask inside for this divine goddess of wisdom who brought knowledge from the ancient civilizations, from humanity's golden age, and resurrected it, planting it as seeds in civilizations across your world. And so just asking inside, we call for the presence of Seshat.
And again, together calling for her energy. And you might sense now the energy gently changing as we ask for Seshat to bring her wisdom, her love, her understanding into this global meditation. And again, you can invite her to come closer. Let her know that you are open to receive the blessing of her energies and her wisdom.
So come closer, Seshat.
Very good. And as you know, these incredible structures have been used to assist many in their journey into higher consciousness. Many of you are aware of the life of Anna, the grandmother of this one Yeshua. She also traveled to this place several times. And so we ask each one of you now to call for the presence and support of Anna, who lived for many hundreds of years simply with the intention of being a teacher, a guide for humanity.
And so asking with feeling, we are calling for the presence of Anna, grandmother of Jesus.
And feel, here she comes, Anna. She was an Essene, part of a long lineage who came to prepare humanity for the Master of Love, Yeshua or Jesus. And the whole of the Essenes took this knowledge from Egypt and elsewhere, transporting it around your globe. And so, beloveds, the awakening of humanity has occurred over many, many years with many, many guides, masters, and elevated conscious beings sharing their love and their caring, dedicating their lives to the awakening of humanity. And now, beloved ones, now is the time when each and every one of you can benefit from their lifetime, from their work, from their dedication. For now is the time for humanity to step up into a new reality. Part of the Stargate's journey here through this Egyptian tour is preparing energetically, adding another layer of energy that has been building over these years, so that when we gather in Greece at the island of Kos, we will be creating such an energetic, with support from the galactic star beings, with the support of all the masters who have walked this earth, with the support of the angelic realms and other benevolent beings, we will be creating a tidal wave of energy, so to speak, that will shift the consciousness of humanity onto a new timeline. And so, beloved ones, is this something that you are ready for? Is this something that perhaps you have come into this lifetime to assist with? Not just your own evolution, but a grander picture, a grander purpose, to assist in the up-leveling of human consciousness. Because, beloveds, now is the time. You are here. You are hearing these words. Feel. Allow. Allow yourself to open to a higher potential that is already within you. Receive the blessings, the vibration of these divine feminine beings. We will invite also this beautiful one who holds such a strong energy of compassion to bring her energy as we prepare for the elevation of humanity. For much compassion is going to be needed in the times to come.
And she is, of course, the one known as Kuan Yin. And so we ask each one of you to ask inside.
We call for the presence, the love, the compassion of Kuan Yin. And just feel as she brings her energy into this global meditation. Kuan Yin.
And so you are being bathed in frequencies of the divine feminine. And you are also here connected through the presence of the Stargate to the sacred lands, to these sacred devices known as pyramids, that these two are in the auric field of. And so right now in this meditation, the Great Pyramid and all of these pyramids of Giza are wishing to bring their energy, and it is already happening. So just feel and asking inside.
There is a line of pyramids behind this one. And so each one of you asking for the different flavors, the different energetics of these structures, the unseen and as yet not fully understood gifts of their energy, of their presence. Asking inside now for the energetics of all these pyramids to connect to this global meditation.
And so we are calling for the presence, the energetic presence of all the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. And feel.
And as you feel these energies, the Stargate is radiating these energies out around the world through the thousands of physical Stargates that are existing around your Earth. And beloved ones, there are so many pyramids around your world. They are all in the process of reawakening to share their energetics, their secrets, their wisdom with humanity as you continue to awaken.
And beloved ones, something very extraordinary and unique is about to occur here in your Egypt. We can only hint at the power of these energies. But perhaps when we say this, some part of your knowingness can feel there are activations available to humanity because it is time. Because it is time to awaken. Because it is time to elevate the divine feminine to her rightful role as a guide and creator of all life here on this your earth. And so, beloved, there is one more divine feminine influence wishing to join you. And it is the ones who are known as the Hathors. They are known as goddesses here in Egypt, and yet we know them as star families, but they are wishing to come with their divine feminine essence this night. And so we ask each one of you to ask inside for the presence of the Hathors.
We call for the presence, the love and support of the Hathors. And feel, here they come, coming closer, responding to your asking. The Hathor. And as we are embraced by all of these energies, we invite you just to focus your awareness now on your own energetic field, your own vibration. And just feel how your energy is vibrating now, having been touched by these beautiful energies from beyond the physical. And so now, we invite you just to be really aware of your physical body as well as your energy, feeling your presence in the body. And then, very, very slowly, very gently, when you are ready, allowing the eyes to gently come open, allowing yourself to reconnect once more to the room around you. And so just feeling self, yes, totally relaxed, totally into this moment of now. Okay.
Okay. So just taking a moment, a deep breath. You might even be able to feel your energy field taking a deep breath right now. Just notice your sensitivity. Notice if you put your hand out, can you actually feel as if the air around your hand is vibrating, or maybe every cell in your hand feels like it's buzzing? For me right now, I feel like I have like a shimmering energy.
I feel my whole body vibrating. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
And we hope that you can sense some of that in and around your own self.
And these meditations are always layered with multidimensional happenings. So we would love if you write in the chat about your experiences. It's always really fun to read other people's experiences as well as sharing your own. And so we're going to bring this live stream to conclusion. We hope that you'll feel called to join us for the full live stream of our tour in Egypt. As always, we're going to have multiple different pricing options, and you can choose the one that works best for you. And your contribution to the Stargate work goes directly into fueling this work, which is always expanding. After Egypt, we're going to be going to Greece with over 1,000 people and creating this super massive energetic field that will have the potential to uplift all of us, whether we're there in person, whether we're watching around the world. But it's also going to be impacting the overall energetic of humanity. So thank you so much for your interest in higher states of consciousness. Let's explore.
Come and join us tomorrow when we're joined with Vivienne Chavot, who is, as we said, this amazing Arcturan being who brings with her her whole family and entourage of many Arcturans, including her Arcturan father, who has the most beautiful, beautiful energy.
And she's going to be sharing some very interesting perspectives. She's already here in Cairo, so she will have been acclimating for a few days now. Okay. So
we see you tomorrow.
See you then.